Hello, and welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're stepping into a pivotal moment in American history, a time when the young United States stood at a crossroads, torn between expansion and morality, unity and division. It's the year 1820, and the nation is wrestling with a question that will echo through the decades. Can a country built on liberty also tolerate slavery? This is the story of the Missouri Compromise, an uneasy truce that bought America time, but not peace. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's journey back to a time when the fate of a nation hung in the balance. In the early 19th century, the United States was a land of contradictions. On one hand, it was a beacon of democracy. On the other, it was a nation where nearly 1 million people were held in bondage, denied the very rights its founding documents promised. By 1820, the U.S. had grown from its original 13 colonies to 22 states, stretching westward beyond the Mississippi River. But as the country expanded, so too did the tension over slavery. The trouble began in December 1819, when Missouri, a territory carved out of the Louisiana Purchase, applied for statehood. Nothing unusual about that, except for one explosive detail. Missouri wanted to enter the Union as a slave state. At the time, there were 11 free states and 11 slave states, creating a delicate balance of power in the U.S. Senate. Each side had equal representation, which meant neither could dominate national policies, especially on the issue of slavery. Northern lawmakers, many of whom opposed the expansion of slavery, saw Missouri's admission as a threat. If Missouri became a slave state, the South would gain the upper hand in Congress. Southern lawmakers, meanwhile, argued that banning slavery in new territories violated states' rights and threatened their economic way of life. The debate quickly grew heated, revealing deep fractures in the national fabric. Then came an unexpected twist. In January 1820, Representative James Talmadge of New York proposed an amendment to Missouri's statehood bill. No more enslaved people could be brought into Missouri, and all children born to enslaved parents after statehood would be freed at age 25. The Talmadge Amendment passed in the House, where the North held the majority, but it died in the Senate, where the South still had equal power. For months, Congress remained deadlocked. Newspapers fanned the flames. Petitions flooded in. Rumors spread that the Union itself might dissolve. Former President Thomas Jefferson, retired at Monticello, wrote in alarm that the Missouri question was a fire bell in the night that filled him with terror. Into this chaos stepped Henry Clay, the Speaker of the House, known as the Great Compromiser. Clay, a Kentuckian who owned slaves but believed in preserving the Union above all, saw a path forward. His solution, a two-part bargain. First, Missouri would be admitted as a slave state. Second, Maine, which had long sought independence from Massachusetts, would be admitted as a free state. That would restore the balance. 12 free states, 12 slave states. But Clay didn't stop there. To prevent future crises, he proposed drawing a line across the remaining Louisiana territory. Slavery would be prohibited north of the 3,630 parallel. This geographic boundary was revolutionary. It turned an abstract moral conflict into a concrete map. After fierce debate, Congress passed the Missouri Compromise in March 1820. President James Monroe signed it into law. But the compromise came with hidden costs. Missouri inserted a clause banning free black people from entering the state. Clay brokered a second deal in 1821, and Missouri officially joined the Union on August 10, 1821. For 3 decades, the Missouri Compromise helped shape the map of America, influencing where settlers went and where new states formed. The underlying question remained unanswered. Was slavery a local institution or a national sin? Could democracy coexist with human bondage? The fragile peace finally shattered in 1854 with the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which repealed the 3,630 line. The result was bloodshed in bleeding Kansas and the rise of a new political force, the Republican Party. Just 4 years later, Abraham Lincoln would invoke the Missouri Compromise, arguing that the nation could not endure half slave and half free. And in 1857, the Supreme Court delivered the final blow. In the Dred Scott decision, Chief Justice Taney declared the compromise unconstitutional. Looking back, the Missouri Compromise was never really about Missouri. It was about whether America could grow without confronting its original sin. It bought time, but time for what? For more enslaved people to be born into chains. For the moral reckoning to be delayed. The consequence was this: it postponed the inevitable. And when the reckoning finally came, the Civil War, it was far bloodier than anyone imagined. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives. Until next time, stay curious, stay thoughtful, and remember, history isn't just about the past, it's about who we choose to become.